Hey everyone, Steve Grogan here, founder of Geek Wing Chun. Today's video is a deep dive into pillar number 2 of Dr. Nathaniel Branden's 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, which is the practice of self-acceptance. If you've never been here before, this is a sister or supplemental channel to my main YouTube channel, which is Geek Wing Chun. I'll provide a link to that in the description box. I whipped up this second channel because, I was posting self-esteem videos on the main channel, and because people had told me, you know what, there's a lot of Wing Chun channels out there, you want to stand out, you got to do something that others don't. I said, okay, great. Well, no one talks about mental health. Definitely no one talks about self-esteem and how that's important to training, so I'll do that. And then my subscribers, the rate of subscribers I got dwindled, the views and watch time dwindled, and I'm like, what's going on here? And the same people who told me to stand out and be different are now saying, well, it's because you got those self-esteem videos. And I'm like, okay, so if I take those away, well, then I'm just white noise. I'm just another face in the crowd. But this is what they claim. This is how they claim this is how the game is played. So I'm going to give it a shot. These videos will still be on Geek Wing Chun because I'll share them. I'll save them to a playlist over there. But this Geek Wing Chun self-esteem will be their home. So self-esteem, practice of self-acceptance. What does it mean? Well, here we go. Self-acceptance is my refusal to be in an adversarial relationship to myself. In other words, don't beat yourself up, kind of thing. The first level is to be on your own side, which can be summed up in the quote, I choose to value myself, to treat myself with respect, and to stand up for my right to exist. Excuse me there, neck cracked. Second level, the refusal to regard any part of ourselves as alien, as quote-unquote not me, to not disown, to be present to the reality of our behavior. Notice it doesn't say our good behavior, it says our behavior. That means good or bad. Whatever we consider bad is determined, well, by our values, Here's a direct quote. When we fully experience and accept negative feelings, we're able to let go of them. They've been allowed to have their say and relinquish center stage. And I had some underlines here. Self-acceptance is the willingness to say of any emotion or behavior, quote, this is an expression of me, not necessarily an expression I like or admire, but an expression of me nonetheless, at least at the time it occurred, end quote. It is the virtue of realism that is of respect for reality applied to the self. And here's my next underline. I am feeling what I'm feeling, and I accept the reality of my experience. If I've taken actions of which I'm later ashamed, the fact remains that I have taken them. That is reality. And I do not twist my brain to make facts disappear. So that should fly in the face of everybody who thinks self-esteem is all about assuming everything is rainbows and sunshine and lollipops. I almost said lollydrops, but no, we have to admit to our bad as well as our good. We don't sweep the bad under the rug. Self-esteem is the precondition of change and, self-acceptance is the precondition of change and growth. I cannot learn from a mistake that I cannot accept I made. Again, just more proof. It's not about sweeping bad under the rug. And also, and he said this in his past books, accepting doesn't mean liking. So if I'm like, yeah, I used that, I got mad at that one guy and used a racial slur. I accept that I did that. Doesn't mean that I like that I did it, okay? The third level, self-acceptance inquires into the context of an undesirable action or thought to figure out why it felt appropriate at the time. That's like I said, if you get my example, I got so mad I used a racial slur. Why did I feel that was okay to do? When if I'd heard someone else do it, I would have been like, wow, what a jerk. Next thing is listening to feelings. The act of experiencing and accepting our emotions is implemented through 1. focusing on the feeling or emotion. 2, breathing gently and deeply, allowing muscles to relax, allowing the feeling to be felt. And 3, making real that this is my feeling, which we call owning it. In contrast, we deny and disown our emotions when we 1, avoid awareness of their reality. 2, constrict our breathing and tighten our muscles to cut off or numb feeling. And 3, disassociate ourselves from our own experience, in which state we are often unable to recognize our feelings. Now, what if you absolutely cannot accept a feeling? Well, oddly enough, he addresses that. If we cannot accept a feeling, we should accept our resistance to accepting it. In other words, start by accepting where we are. So if you can't accept it right now, then you have to just say, I accept that I'm in denial. Because the question is, if we can't accept what is, where will we find the motivation to improve? And then he goes on, he gives a 5-week sentence completion exercise to help facilitate self-acceptance. And self-acceptance also includes accepting our positives as well as our negatives. As he says, we can be as frightened of our assets as our shortcomings. We can run from our bright side, from anything that threatens to make us stand out or stand alone. And that's true. How many people do you say, wow, you're really good at that? And they're like, no, I suck. I'm awful. I'm terrible. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that is practice of self-acceptance. So that's pillar 2 out of 6. Stay tuned for the 3rd pillar coming up next week. Hit the subscribe button, smash the bell icon, and I'll see you in the next video.